What if I told you that the smallest choices you make today hold the power to transform your entire future? Not with sudden breakthroughs or overnight miracles, but through the invisible strength of small, repeated actions. Success is never built in a single giant leap. It is shaped quietly in the shadows, carved by persistence, and revealed only after patience. Just like a single drop of water can carve valleys through stone, your consistent daily actions, no matter how small, carry every great achievement in history, started with something so small, so ordinary, that no one noticed. A seed in the ground, a single word on a page, one step taken on a long road. At first, these beginnings seem meaningless. Nothing changes overnight. The soil still looks empty, the book remains unfinished, and the mountain appears just as high. This is why so many people quit at the very start. They mistake invisibility for failure. But the truth is, every meaningful journey begins in silence. Like roots growing underground, progress hides before it reveals itself. The first workout may not change your body. The first page may not make you wise. The first saved dollar may not make you rich. Yet these small starts are the foundation of greatness. What feels invisible today is quietly building strength for tomorrow. The key is not to expect instant transformation, but to trust that consistent effort, no matter how small, is never wasted. The invisible beginning is not a sign of weakness. It is the proof that something powerful is taking shape. Imagine a single drop of water falling on a stone. At first, nothing happens. 100 drops later, still nothing seems different. But let those drops fall day after day, year after year, and the stone will eventually break. That is the power of repetition. What seems too small to matter becomes unstoppable when multiplied by time. Many people underestimate this truth. They want quick results. They expect mastery in weeks, transformation in months, recognition in days. When they don't see change, they give up. But those who endure repetition know a secret: small actions compound into massive results. Reading 10 pages daily doesn't feel life-changing, but in a year it equals a dozen books. Saving a little money each month doesn't seem powerful, but in years it builds wealth. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes a day feels ordinary, yet it turns beginners into masters. Repetition turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Every drop counts, every step matters. What seems boring in the moment is what creates miracles in the future. The greatest tragedy is not failure, it is quitting too soon. Most people give up not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. They start something with excitement, but when results don't appear instantly, their enthusiasm fades. They join the gym for 2 weeks and expect transformation. They practice a craft for a month and expect mastery. They study for a season and expect genius. When life doesn't deliver fast enough, they stop. But what they don't realize is this: they were closer to success than they thought. Growth always happens underground before it shows above the surface. The musician struggling through wrong notes is closer to mastery than they realize. The writer frustrated by slow progress is closer to finishing than they think. The dreamer who feels invisible is closer to recognition than they know. Quitting is the only real failure because it ends the journey before the miracle happens. Patience is not just a virtue. It is the price of greatness. But it is also unreliable. It comes in bursts. Here today, gone tomorrow. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you feel tired, distracted, and unmotivated. If you rely only on motivation, you will never achieve consistency, because consistency is built on discipline, not emotion. Discipline is the decision to show up regardless of how you feel. It's the voice that says, do it anyway. Discipline is waking up early even when your body craves more sleep. It is studying when distractions call. It is pushing through one more set at the gym when quitting feels easier. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. And once you practice discipline long enough, it transforms into habit. Habits no longer need motivation. They carry you forward automatically. Just like brushing your teeth doesn't require inspiration, daily progress becomes part of who you are. Consistency is born when discipline replaces emotion. And once consistency is in place, success becomes inevitable. The most dangerous stage of any journey is the silent phase. The time when you are working hard, yet no one notices, and even you can't see the results. It feels like nothing is changing, but in truth, everything is. This is the stage when doubt whispers the loudest, telling you to quit. But this is also the stage when real growth is happening beneath the surface. Just like bamboo spends years growing roots underground before shooting skyward, your efforts are building a foundation too deep to be destroyed. Silent growth is the hardest to trust because it doesn't give you proof. But those who endure it eventually break through in ways that seem miraculous to others. One day, the results suddenly appear, and people will call it overnight success. But you will know the truth. It was never overnight. It was built quietly, patiently, in the silent growth phase. Every action you take is a seed. Some seeds grow quickly, others take years, but all require care and patience. When you choose to practice daily, read consistently, or exercise regularly, you are planting seeds in your future. The challenge is that at first, nothing seems to happen. You water, you wait, you protect the soil, but the ground looks empty. Doubt creeps in. You wonder if your effort matters. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming, stronger and deeper than you can see. Those roots are building a foundation for growth that will last. The same happens in your life. Small acts of discipline may look invisible today, but they are laying the groundwork for transformation tomorrow. The tragedy is that many stop watering their seeds before they sprout. They quit because progress seems hidden. But the wise keep nurturing, trusting the process. One day the breakthrough comes, not by accident, but because they never stop planting and caring for their seeds. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Fast results, instant gratification, quick fixes. People chase them endlessly. But real success has never worked that way. Castles are not built in a day. Bridges are not completed in a week. Masterpieces are not painted in one sitting. Everything truly valuable requires time, effort, and patience. The illusion of quick success is dangerous because it makes people abandon the slow, steady path that actually works. When you expect transformation overnight, disappointment is guaranteed. But when you accept that greatness is built brick by brick, you begin to find power in the process. The truth is, anything built slowly is built to last. The person who improves just 1% every day doesn't feel powerful in the moment, but over time, they become unstoppable. Quick success fades quickly. Steady success lasts forever. The choice is yours. Chase shortcuts that collapse or commit to the path that endures. Consistency is not just about what you do. It shapes who you become. Every repeated action begins to form your identity. Read daily, and you become a reader. Practice gratitude each morning, and you become a grateful person. Exercise consistently, and you become fit. Discipline is not only about achievements, it is about identity. That is the hidden magic of habits. They reprogram your life quietly, turning effort into nature. At first, habits feel forced, but with time, they become automatic, requiring no extra willpower. This is why the most powerful thing you can do is focus on small daily actions. They may not seem extraordinary, but they are redefining you from the inside out. Your habits are shaping your character, your identity, and your destiny. The secret is simple. Don't just act like the person you want to be. Become that person by doing the small, repeated actions that define them. People often misunderstand discipline. They see it as restriction, as chains, as something that limits life. But the opposite is true. Discipline creates freedom. The person without discipline becomes a slave to laziness, to procrastination, to unhealthy choices, to regret. The person with discipline, however, gains control. With discipline in money, you earn financial freedom. With discipline in health, you enjoy vitality and energy. With discipline in time, you create space for purpose and joy. Discipline is the key that unlocks freedom because it removes chaos and builds structure. It may feel difficult in the moment, but in the long run, it makes life easier. Lack of discipline feels easy now, but creates hardship later. Discipline feels hard now, but creates freedom later. Every disciplined choice you make today is a brick in the foundation of a freer, stronger, more meaningful tomorrow. Every journey toward greatness includes a battle with doubt. Doubt tells you that you're wasting time. Doubt whispers that you're not good enough. Doubt tempts you with distractions that promise quick pleasure instead of long-term reward. And when progress feels invisible, doubt grows louder. This is the moment that breaks most people. They give in. They stop showing up. They convince themselves it's not worth it. But doubt is not a signal to quit. It's a test of belief. Every time you push through doubt, you strengthen your resilience. Every time you act despite uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. This trust builds confidence, because confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to keep going in spite of it. Doubt may never disappear completely, but the more you overcome it, the quieter it becomes. Progress requires faith, not in perfection, but in persistence. Resilience is not built in a single heroic act. It is forged in the small daily decisions to keep going when quitting feels easier. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. That self-trust builds inner strength, and inner strength creates resilience. When you show up daily, even when it's inconvenient, you train your mind to endure. You become someone who doesn't collapse under pressure, someone who keeps moving forward regardless of setbacks. Even failure becomes less threatening when consistency is your habit. Missing one day doesn't matter when you know you'll return the next. Resilience is not perfection. It is persistence. It is refusing to stay down. The moment you restart, you reclaim your path. This quiet, stubborn persistence is what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. Resilience isn't born. It is built, one consistent step at a time. Dreams can feel overwhelming because they look like massive mountains standing in your way. The vision of writing an entire book, building a business, or transforming your health can feel impossible when you stare at the peak. But the secret to climbing any mountain is simple: focus only on the next step. Consistency transforms impossibility into a series of small, achievable actions. When you commit to showing up daily, you stop worrying about the entire journey and instead focus on progress in the moment. Step by step, you climb higher until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. The mountain didn't shrink. You simply grew strong enough to climb it. This is the gift of consistency. It doesn't make the goal smaller, but it makes you bigger, braver, and stronger with each step you take. The most discouraging part of any journey is when effort seems to go unrewarded. You study but don't see improvement. You exercise but don't see change. You save money but don't feel richer. It's easy to assume that nothing is working. But progress is rarely visible at first. It hides beneath the surface, silently preparing for a breakthrough. Just because you can't see roots growing underground doesn't mean they aren't there. Just because water hasn't yet carved stone doesn't mean it isn't happening. Invisible progress is still progress. It tests your patience, demands your faith, and builds your character. Most people give up before their work bears fruit, abandoning the process in its most crucial stage. But if you endure, if you trust that effort is never wasted, one day invisible progress will suddenly reveal itself. And when it does, the results will look like magic, though you'll know it was persistence all along. Big victories are built from small wins stacked over time. The problem is most people overlook them. They wait for dramatic transformation, not realizing that every small improvement is a step closer to success. Reading one page today may not feel powerful, but it's one page more than yesterday. Saying no to one distraction may not seem important, but it strengthens your discipline. Choosing a healthy meal may not look life-changing, but it builds momentum. Small wins matter because they are proof that you're moving forward. They keep your energy alive and your confidence growing. Celebrate them, acknowledge them. The more you recognize small victories, the stronger your belief becomes. And belief fuels persistence. Success is not built on one massive win. It is the collection of small, consistent victories that compound into transformation. Every little step counts, and together they create greatness. Many people chase goals, but goals alone are not enough. Goals are external. They exist outside of you. Identity is internal. It becomes who you are. If your actions remain inconsistent, you may achieve a goal once, but you won't sustain it. The real transformation happens when you stop saying, "I want to achieve this," and start saying, "This is who I am." A person who runs occasionally may complete a race, but a person who identifies as a runner will keep running for life. A person who diets may lose weight once, but a person who becomes health-focused will stay fit permanently. Consistency is what bridges the gap between goals and an identity. Every repeated action carves a piece of who you are. Don't just pursue goals. Become the kind of person who lives them. When success becomes your identity, consistency becomes effortless. People love the story of overnight success. They see the moment someone wins an award, launches a business, or suddenly rises to fame, and they call it luck. But what they don't see are the years of invisible effort that built that moment. Success is never sudden. It is compounded effort finally becoming visible. The author who suddenly writes a best-selling book spent years writing in silence. The athlete who instantly becomes a champion trained countless hours when no one was watching. The entrepreneur who magically succeeds endured failures, doubts, and sleepless nights. The truth is, overnight success is just consistency finally showing itself. People see the explosion, but not the quiet grind. They see the peak, but not the climb. You cannot skip the silent years. They are what prepare you for the moment the world finally notices. Patience is not weakness. It is strength disguised. In a world addicted to speed, patience feels unnatural, but it is the secret weapon of the successful. Patience allows you to keep showing up when results are invisible. It protects you from the frustration that makes others quit. It teaches you to fall in love with the process instead of chasing only the outcome. Like a farmer who plants seeds and waits for the harvest, you must trust that growth takes time. Bamboo spends years growing roots before shooting upward. Water takes thousands of drops to carve stone. In the same way, your journey requires patience before progress becomes obvious. If you can endure the waiting, if you can keep nurturing your efforts even when nothing shows, you guarantee that success will eventually come. Patience combined with consistency makes you unstoppable. Success is not always exciting. In fact, much of it feels boring. Waking up early, practicing the same skills, repeating the same drills, sticking to routines, these things rarely feel thrilling. But they are the very actions that build mastery. Most people quit not because the journey is too hard, but because it feels too dull. They crave constant excitement, forgetting that excellence is built in repetition. The musician mastering scales, the athlete repeating drills, the student studying daily, all are embracing the boredom that others run from. True mastery comes when you stop chasing stimulation and start valuing repetition. Boredom is not the enemy. It is the gateway to greatness. If you can push through the monotony, if you can stay consistent when the work feels ordinary, you will eventually create results that look extraordinary. Mastery is simply persistence through boredom. No path to greatness is free from setbacks. You will face rejection, failure, and moments when nothing works as planned. Most people see setbacks as reasons to quit, but for the consistent, setbacks are fuel. Every failure carries a lesson that makes you stronger. Every rejection sharpens your character. Every obstacle builds resilience. Consistency transforms failure from an ending into a stepping stone. When you keep showing up despite setbacks, you prove that your commitment is stronger than your circumstances. Think of a sculptor carving stone. Each strike may look like a mistake, but together they form a masterpiece. Your failures are strikes that shape you. They are not signs of defeat. They are signs that you're in the arena doing the work. The consistent person doesn't fear setbacks. They expect them, embrace them, and use them as fuel to climb higher. True confidence is not built on applause or recognition. It is built in the silence of daily discipline. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen self-trust. And self-trust is the root of confidence. Confidence doesn't come from others believing in you. It comes from you believing in yourself, because you've proven through action that you can rely on your own word. Each small step you complete, each routine you honor, becomes proof of your reliability. Over time, that proof builds unshakable confidence. This is why consistency is so powerful. It shifts your identity. You no longer need constant validation from the outside because you've already validated yourself through action. The applause will eventually come, but by then you won't even need it. You'll already know your worth because you built it in silence. People may not notice your daily grind, but they will notice the results. Consistency builds a reputation more powerful than words. You are no longer known for what you say you will do. You are known for what you actually do. Reliability is rare in a world full of excuses, and consistency proves reliability. When you consistently deliver, people trust you. They see you as someone who shows up, someone who can be counted on. Over time, this reputation becomes one of your greatest assets. It opens doors, attracts opportunities, and earns respect. The quiet work that no one applauds eventually speaks louder than anything you could say. Your results become undeniable, and your character becomes unshakable. Consistency earns respect not because it is loud, but because it is rare. And rare things are always valuable. Every journey has a tipping point, a moment when compounded effort spills over into visible success. For months or years, progress feels invisible. Then suddenly, momentum kicks in. Skills sharpen, opportunities appear, recognition comes. To outsiders, it looks magical, like success appeared out of nowhere. But you know the truth. It was the result of relentless consistency. The tipping point cannot be predicted, and that is why so many quit too soon. They give up just before the breakthrough, unaware they were inches away from transformation. Imagine quitting after thousands of drops of water, when the very next drop would have cracked the stone. This is the danger of impatience. But if you keep going, if you simply refuse to quit, the tipping point will come. And when it does, it will feel unstoppable, like momentum carrying you forward faster than you ever imagined. Consistency does more than create results. It changes who you are. At first, discipline feels like something you do. But over time, it becomes part of your identity. You don't just read books, you are a reader. You don't just exercise, you are an athlete. You don't just practice discipline, you are disciplined. This identity shift is the deepest transformation of all, because once you become the person who lives the habit, the effort becomes natural. You no longer fight with yourself to take action. It flows from who you are. This is why consistent people seem unstoppable. Their habits are no longer choices, they are extensions of their identity. Success is no longer something they chase, it is something they embody. And once your identity transforms, your destiny follows. The highest reward of consistency is not applause, wealth, or recognition. It is freedom. Mastery gives you control over your craft, your choices, and your life. The musician who practices daily doesn't just play songs, they express emotion with freedom. The athlete who trained relentlessly doesn't just perform, they dominate with confidence. The person who built financial discipline doesn't just survive, they live with independence. Freedom comes from effort repeated long enough to turn struggle into skill. What once felt heavy now feels natural. What once felt impossible now feels effortless. Consistency takes what others see as hard work and transforms it into second nature. Mastery frees you from fear, from hesitation, from dependence on chance. It is the ability to live life on your terms, built on a foundation of discipline, patience, and persistence. In the end, greatness is not built in dramatic moments, but in quiet, consistent steps taken daily. The world may celebrate the explosion of success, but the real story is in the silent hours, the invisible efforts, the ordinary choices repeated over time. Every small action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every act of discipline is a seed planted for your future. Success is not about being lucky or gifted. It is about being consistent. If you trust the process, embrace patience, and refuse to quit, your small steps will multiply into extraordinary results. One day, people will look at your life and call it talent, genius, or luck. But you will know the truth. It was built drop by drop, step by step, in the shadows of consistency. That is your legacy. The power of small steps that transformed into greatness. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and visit our channel for more inspiring and life-changing stories.